Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the Free American Hour. I'm your host, Clay Douglas. My guest today is RaymondWilliamChristl. Is it Crystal? Crystal? Is that it?
It is a Crystal name, yes. Christie is a good friend, Roger, which we'll be talking about today.
Yes, and you can find out more about Roger by going below Ray's name here and clicking on the last marijuana trial. I wish. Yesterday I talked about the one of the people on there, the first guy to get arrested for marijuana in 1937. We've been in a dictatorship ever since, haven't we?
Well, I'll tell you, Clayton, it's wonderful to be on your show, and I got out of the United States many years ago. I've been living in the beautiful city of Phnom Penh in what many people think is the backwaters of the world in Cambodia, and it's one of the freest places you can ever imagine to live, and in 9 years I've never had a police officer talk with me.
You know, I get a lot of people to talk about that, but I won't go along with that because I think, you know, this country started out to be the light of the world, and I'm just not going to leave it. I'm going to keep fighting here and trying to get something changed here. And part of my goal here, I mean, I talk a lot about the marijuana, and here in Arizona, I usually do a breakfast club on Saturdays, and the last time they said, well, you know, Clay, if you just wouldn't talk about the marijuana. Well, let's see, it's on the ballot. Medical marijuana is on the ballot here in Arizona, and you don't want me to talk about something that's on the ballot? What the hell
It's for the third time, Clay. The first two times they had it passed, there were technical problems, and so they've had to go for a third vote to really get it accomplished correctly.
Now, you know, the only thing I know about Cambodia is what I heard. I didn't have to go to Vietnam. I volunteered for it, and government tried to kill me before I got there. But what's the result of the war? Now, you know, I've seen pictures of Nagasaki totally destroyed by an atomic bomb, and it's in better shape now than Detroit. What's it like in Cambodia now?
Well, there has been reconstruction here, especially the last 9 years. When I came to the country 9 years ago, and you took the main road from Thailand to Phnom Penh capital, it was like it was bombed maybe the week before. It was such a disaster to try to go overland on these decrepit roads. And I thought the Vietnam-Cambodian War was over a few weeks ago. So for many, many years, the country was a disaster case, mainly because of what most people don't understand. There were three genocides of Cambodia. Most people know the first one, where Kissinger and Nixon illegally bombed the country to smithereens and destroyed the country, trying to kill both the Khmer Rouge and the Vietnamese coming down the Ho Chi Minh Trail, which included parts of Cambodia. Then, of course, we have the 4 years of Pol Pot's regime, which everyone considers the only genocide. In my teaching, that's the second genocide of Cambodia. And then when Pol Pot was deposed by the Vietnamese invasion with the help of the Soviet Union, that started the third generation, where the United States and China created a secret agreement, which no one really talks about, to this very day, Clayton. And that's where they got together to destroy the Soviet Union via Vietnam. And of course, the innocent Khmers were the victims of this genocide, where the weapons were manufactured mostly by the Singaporeans under secret agreement with the United States and European allies, along with China supplying and putting Pol Pot back in power, the genocidal maniac of the world at that time, was put back in power by the United States and China and the United Nations, and his people went around the country for dozen years, killing the Khmers as retribution for aligning themselves with the Vietnamese and the Soviet Union. How dare them come against the Red Chinese and the American hegemony?
Now, during Vietnam, we were told that the UN basically told us where we could go, where we couldn't go, and there's oil platforms in Vietnam that were never bombed.
Well, I'm not privy to that, but what I do know is that particular war was completely contrived and illegal. And certainly the situation in Cambodia for all three of these genocides, starting approximately in 1967 and going for 30 years to 1997. And the American government, along with Singapore, do television shows here in Cambodia where they only talk about the 3 or 4 years of the Pol Pot regime, because they're trying to not allow the truth to come out about what really happened here in Cambodia. And even the Khmer people now, they want this to be forgotten. They want to move forward with forgetting about all their dead relatives that they worship with all their holidays, the Buddhist holidays. They want to just move forward and make money with the United States and be part of the international community, and you can't blame them for that. And in the 9 years I've been here, capitalism, God bless it, has done a remarkable job of rejuvenating what we used to call the Pearl of the East, Phnom Penh, Cambodia, a beautiful place to live.
Now, supposedly, we lost the war in Vietnam, but there's been so much disinformation. There was no Gulf of Tonkin incident, and Jesse Ventura just mentioned that the other day on mainstream television. 58,000 of our brothers.
If I could say something about Clayton, about our dear friend Roger Christie, which I don't know.
I do want to talk about him. Yes.
Yeah. The thing about him was he was an intelligence officer, in the Army and in the Marine Corps, and he was, and he read those secret documents and he found out that it was a ruse. And so he resigned. He became a conscientious objector. The church, Senator Church and these senators, they got this information from the CIA, and they realized it was a scam. It never happened. But they were afraid to go forward with the American people and tell the American people that it was a lie, that the whole war was predicated on a lie. But Roger Christie, no. He saw this in the secret documents when he was inside the government, similar to Daniel Ellsberg and the RAND Corporation, which is a CIA-funded think tank. And he was a brilliant man, Daniel Ellsberg, as is Roger Christie. And these are men of conscience that will not work for a government that's doing illegal actions around the world.
Now, let's bring my audience up to date. You can go and hear the interview I did with Roger before he got put in jail. Now, he's my son was joined his church years ago while he was in college, and it seemed to be operating pretty well. Why then all of a sudden what happened? Why did the United States government decide to go in there and they're holding Roger right now with no bail?